and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Oh boy, yes, it's the one you've all been waiting for. It's We Talk About Lockdown. Professor Weeds, do you want to say hello to everybody?
All right, guys, how's it going? You all right, Delzinski?
Yeah, I'm good. I am good. Well, I could be a bit better if lockdown had gone the way I had planned, but there were some good bits and there were some bad bits.
Joe. No.
Yeah, we will cover that Samoa Joe Magnus World Title match in this commentary because, oh boy, I did not see that coming.
No, but neither did Joe, did he?
No, but he looked pretty pissed when he came back out from under the ring. But we'll come to that just a little bit later. Now, I mean, first of all, I've got to ask you, Weeds, what was your expectation going into lockdown?
Well, there've been quite a lot built up, hadn't there, over the last few weeks. Some good promos coming out in terms of Willow, who obviously was a massive surprise. Were you surprised to see him in that Lethal Lockdown match?
No,
I was.
No.
I didn't get what was going on with the commentary because Jeff Hardy can't be in that. He couldn't be in that match because they had told me this. He couldn't be. Was that Jeff Hardy?
Jeff Hardy's Willow.
Is he Willow?
Is he Willow?
But the tattoos.
That's not. No.
No. See. I was just checking because I was getting quite confused by some of the commentary. But obviously, I'm sure we'll cover the commentary at some point as well. But no, they've been building up quite a lot. Obviously, the Magnus and the Samoa Joe angle have been building up well. I was even liking Madam Dixie the last few weeks. So no, expectations, I suppose, on my part were quite high going into this pay-per-view. Yourself?
I'm still in shock that we're debating whether Jeff Hardy's Willow. What? But look, we are being very, very sarcastic because yes, the commentary was, in my opinion, atrocious. Going into lockdown, I think I made my points pretty clear. If you follow me on Twitter, then at Delzinski, cheap plug, but make sure you do. I had a lot of expectation for this pay-per-view. I said this was a make or break pay-per-view. This was the big payoff for TNA. All the hard work that they'd done over here in the UK was going to be a culmination and build to lockdown. And lockdown was meant to be something special. Now, look, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing TNA today, but the matches were good. This is my opinion. The matches were good, but some of the actual, some of the booking for the final moments of each match, they just
questionable, wasn't it?
Yeah, they just left me with a sour taste in my mouth. Really, let's look at it as a whole. Let's take one of the matches. The first match of the evening was one of my actual favourite matches of the night. The steel cage match. Oh, wait a minute. They're all in a steel cage, aren't they?
Don't tell Taz.
Somebody had to educate Taz, myself, during this pay-per-view, because I did go on Twitter. Look, let's just tell you a little story. Okay. During the...
Is this the one about the time you pissed someone off, Dale?
Yeah, this is the time Delzinski spoke to Taz. Yes, on Twitter, I was watching the pay-per-view, and during the Tigre Uno and Manik match inside a steel cage, because all the matches at Lockdown are inside a steel cage, Taz decided to come out with one of his classic lines, which pretty much summed up the commentary on the night.
It was a gem.
Now, this is the line that he came out with, and look, I respect Taz, what he did in ECW. I'm a fan of Taz, but his commentary as of late has been a little bit, less to be desired.
Half-assed, I think is what I'm looking for.
And I mean, this is the line that summed up the night. So Taz is commentating on the Tigre Uno and Manic match, and he comes out with, just imagine if there wasn't a cage around these two guys, what they could do.
Lockdown, yeah. Lockdown.
We are watching that pay-per-view, aren't we? The one inside all the cage. That's the big sell. There's, the fact that it's inside a steel cage here. Hello.
What do you know though? How many matches have you called, Dal?
All right. because look, I said this. I tweeted him what he said, and I said, Taz, really, during a pay-per-view that's showcasing a steel cage? And Taz's response to me, as you can see on the screen right now, was this. At Delzinski, nothing to sell when folks have already bought the pay-per-view. You should know that, being that you have called so many... Oh, wait a minute. You haven't. Basically implying that I should know my role and shut my damn mouth, because I've never colour commentated on a match in my life.
In the words of Zima Iron, you got... Bo, 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 bo. You got served, mate.
What I would say is if I was given the opportunity to commentate on a match, I think I would have done a slightly better job on the night. So, I mean, look, as I said, Taz is an ECW legend. I'm not going to beat him too much, but the commentary on the night was a lot less to be desired. And, let's talk about the matches themselves.
They were great, some of them, weren't they? They were really good.
Yeah, first match, the Great Muta, the new X Division champion, I think you say it, Sanada, and is it Yasu?
Yes, no, that's a milkshake drink over here in the UK. But yeah, it's Yasu.
Okay, whoops. And they faced one of my favourite tag teams, the Bad Influence, and Chris Sabin, who also is one of my favourite guys at the moment. Now, it was a good match, really enjoyed it. Actually had a decent finish as well. The issue here was that TNA didn't promote the Great Muta very well, because the crowd was not exactly ram-jammed from the rafters in Miami. I, again, on Twitter, being outspoken as I am, said, the Miami crowd was a bit naff.
Well, it's what's bogged down TNA for a while, wasn't it? I mean, the arena was all crammed into one side again, wasn't it? So, and that came across with quite a lot of the camera angles during the whole pay-per-view. But no, it could have been louder, I suppose, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good match to kick off the pay-per-view. Number one, you had the Great Muta. They showcased these guys from Wrestle 1. I was a bit disappointed that the Bad Influence and Chris Sabin didn't go over, because you would think that, considering this is a TNA pay-per-view, you would let your TNA guys win the match. But, I mean...
The finish to it was pretty good, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The 450?
The 450, and also we got to see the Green Mist. He absolutely nailed Kazarian.
Red mist,
with
yellow mist, purple mist. He had it coming out of all places.
Here, there, and everywhere. So I mean, this was a really good start, and I had high hopes for the pay-per-view after watching this. And then, Holy Testicle Tuesday, and it is actually Thursday, Dixie Carter comes out. Now, actually, Spud comes out, and I'm thinking, yes, Rockstar Spud. I mean, who don't like Rockstar Spud at the moment?
That was a hell of a suit he had on.
Yeah, I know, he borrowed it from me.
Oh yeah, that gave me a little bit of motion sickness looking at the blue and white checks for that long, especially as he's quite an active speaker, isn't he?
He's flipping hilarious. He's brilliant. And he came out and he obviously did his business where he had to put over Dixie Carter. Now, look, he's in the ring, inside the cage. He calls Dixie Carter, comes out, and then Dixie Carter stands on the ramp, which I didn't understand, first of all. Why didn't she go and get in the ring with Spud? God knows. But then we have almost, I think it was about 20 minutes worth of nervousness and not really reassuring promo, which was kind of pointless. I mean, she told us that she'd got an insurance policy from New York City. What I thought...
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I mean... Ultimately, later on, and we will cover it in this review, we find out that it's Bully Ray.
Friggin' way.
But, I mean, do you really need to have that promo tonight? Could it not have just been right before the match? Special guest comes out, special guest referee, Bully Ray. If you're going to do this, I mean, I wouldn't have even booked Bully Ray in the first place.
Well, it's not like she came out and did another promo, is it? Mid-match in the main event, is it, mate? Oh no, that's right. She did.
Yeah. So I mean, she had two big spots in the night, and both ultimately failed and fell flat on their face. And I actually thought Dixie was doing okay in the build up to this pay per view, but That was pointless. It put a down on the crowd. They didn't want to hear it. And just, we had a great match with the great Muta, the Bad Influence, the new X Division champion. It was all good. Yasu, or whatever his name is. We had a really good match there. And then the crowd got brought back down by this promo. So after this, I'm thinking,
need a bit of a pick me up, don't we?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if we got really a pick me up. We got somebody trying to commit suicide.
Did they not? They didn't go with pick me up. They went for threatening to jump off a cage, aka just like Hawk. I think. Do you remember the angle in WWE and Hawk? I think threatened to jump off the Raw sign.
I can't remember that, man.
Oh, it was the last time you ever saw the Legion of Doom in that kind of guys in WWF as it was then, because I think they effectively killed off the character when Puke threw him off. But I am digressing completely there. It was bizarre, wasn't it, to see Samuel Shaw climb up to the top of the cage and threaten to throw himself off. But it didn't get that bizarre until how did the angle finish off?
Well, man, when I watched this, I actually thought, "Oh my god, what? Where are they? Where's Russo?" I mean, this booking was ridiculous, and the only thing that I was a saving grace for me was that Anderson came out and interrupted this promo
by telling him to go higher.
Yeah, but
tongue in cheek.
The crowd looked a little bit like, what? When he said that, when he said he might as well end it. I mean, what? I
thought he literally just meant he was going to walk to the back.
No, it just sucked. But I mean, yeah, Anderson came out. They had their match. The finish in this one again. Earl Hebner just cannot get away from controversy, can he?
He takes some serious bumps though. He doesn't take those things lightly, does he?
It's extreme.
He's like, do you remember Stretch Armstrong? He hits the ramp, boom, he's straight back up, and then he's into the barricade. He doesn't take small bumps. You can understand why. I mean, it's not the cage shot to his head that knocks him out. It's the way he falls over that does it.
Yeah, I mean, this was an escape match, so you had to climb out the cage. Anderson escapes the cage, but unfortunately, good old Earl is having a kip. He's out for the count. So
I thought it was great use of the way they cut the camera angles into the cage because they are always so bloody huge in TNA, aren't they? The massive holes they put into the fact they actually dragged Christy Hemme. Bit of a perv moment coming up. Even better that she managed to rip her jeans on the way in as well.
Easy weeds, easy weeds. We're not talking about Bagwell now.
Can we get through one of these? Just without you mention the buff stuff or Cowboys and Angels or
told you the show is sponsored by it. But look, back to the conversation. The finish against it was good. It was good utilising of the structure and the cage. And ultimately for me, the finish, although be it very strange, the right person won this match because what TNA had to do here, and this is what I went on about through the whole build-up to this pay-per-view, was they had to build some of these new stars. And Samuel Shaw has got a gimmick. He's got a new gimmick, and they really need to work on it. So giving him a win over a Mr. Anderson was the right thing to do.
What do you think of that finishing move?
I'm not keen on that either.
It's like...
Sleep, little boy.
It's quite lengthy, isn't it?
Sleepy time. Yeah. He needs a better move. I always thought he was a high flyer. To be honest,
yeah. I mean, it was interesting because I haven't seen much of Samuel Shaw, so to see him finish in that way, it was unique. So.
What is interesting is where does this gimmick go from here? I mean, he can't be stalking Christy Hemme forever.
Unless he's still looking for her now out the back.
So that's the interesting point. How do they develop this character? They have to have, a route for him to go down. I mean, if Russo's booking, then we're fucked. But if he's not, then hopefully this does keep going and it's got some good direction to it. I don't know whether it's the end of Anderson Shaw. I mean, I think that might go on a little bit longer. I don't think that's the end of the feud. But after Christy Hemme, where does Samuel Shaw go from here? That sounds really weird. Who's he going after next?
Might be Dixie. Might be in luck.
so for me, and I don't know if you agree, Weeds, the right person won this match.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we had this, and then we had a pleasant surprise because we had, ladies and gentlemen, EC3.
He's brilliant.
Trouble.
No, he is absolutely fantastic, EC3.
Yeah, really glad he was there, to be honest, because after we found out Angle was injured, and this was a match I was looking forward to, I'm glad that he did decide to get fitted into this pay-per-view for this open challenge, so to speak.
No, definitely. What did you make of the surprise?
Well, they kept it quiet.
I didn't even. Yeah, I read anything about it anyway.
That was a great achievement from TNA. Something that doesn't get done. I read today that Bobby Lashley, who made his return, doesn't have a contract with TNA yet. They are still working on it. Whether I really want to see Lashley in TNA full time is a meh again, but to keep this quiet was a big deal, and they did well. So obviously Lashley doesn't have a contract at the moment, so this was all done behind the scenes, and only a few people knew about it. So, you know, props to TNA for getting a big guy in, like Bobby Lashley, and keeping it under wraps until the pay-per-view happened.
And it was so funny just listening to EC3. But you're not on the roster, man. You're not on the roster.
EC3 is a great character, and they're doing very well with him. I want him to beat someone significant. That's what I was hoping we were going to get from an Angle match. He was going to win it. So maybe later on he's going to get a victory over Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they take that character next, won't it?
Yeah, there was lots of trouble signs in the crowd, and I was saying this to you earlier. Definitely a plant.
But good plan. I have no problem with it whatsoever if it is being done that way. Because as I said, I would like to see him do more. He's great to listen to, and he's pretty decent in the ring as well. So no, I've got no problem with Ethan Carter turning up everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. And again, this segment to me was good. It was solid. So we move on, and we have another steel cage match because, you know, that's how Lockdown works. Taz.
Someone tell Taz.
And we had the match which Taz felt would be better placed not inside a steel cage. Tigre Uno versus Manik. I really enjoyed this match as well. I mean, a lot of people bashing the fact that Manic comes back with no build whatsoever in terms of storyline and just faces Tigre Uno. But I felt this was a good battle between these two, and I liked what I saw from Tigre Uno, and if he's going to be on the Impact roster for a while now, that's good news for the X division.
No, definitely. It's interesting. As we've been saying, I think they're starting to add a lot of some of the Japanese guys into this kind of mix, and the matches you're seeing, you can see straight away the quality. It was always quite good in the X division when it was a true X division, but now they're getting all that. It seems to be coming back. We're getting the great matches again, a bit like when WCW had their cruiserweights over from Mexico and all over the place. That's where your real wrestling seems to be happening a lot of the time. I'm not saying it doesn't happen further up the card with you guys like Bobby Roode, but again, great match to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Wrestle One deal that they've got here is going to work well as long as they promote it properly. They've made a few mistakes in the build to Lockdown with the fact, you know, the X Division title magically changed hands, the tag belts back and forth. But I mean, as long as they keep the viewership, you know, the people that are watching TNA in sync with what's going on with Wrestle One and TNA, then this is great because you're going to get some good stars coming out of it. I think Sanada looks pretty good, and Tigre Uno, that finishing move that he did was flipping mental.
Yeah, definitely. Still looks like a Care Bear though.
So, I mean, for me, another solid match. So as you can see, at the moment, this pay-per-view is going pretty well in my point of view. What do you think, Weeds? How are you feeling around this time during the pay-per-view?
No, as I say, you got good wrestling. You've had questionable story with the Anderson Samuel Shaw angle, but ultimately, I thought it was great that they dragged Hemi into the ring. So no, I thought it was right on par at the moment. No, not just for that. I'm not being sick again. Stop it. No, I thought it was heading in the right direction at this point.
Yeah. So moving on to the next match, which was the last man standing match between Gunner and the Cowboy, James Storm, with a new theme, a new entrance song. Do you remember that one, or did that just pass you by?
Oh, no, it was great. It was kind of like a little Johnny Cash mix in there. I think it's the Cut You Down song, isn't it? No, it's really good. I really like it. I think they've used it for a couple of promos for the Undertaker in WWE as well. Not that I'm saying TNA are copying or anything like that, because everyone is their own unique brand. So no, I thought it was an interesting take. No, I like it. I prefer Storm as a bit of a heel as well. Anyway.
Yeah, it's about time. It's a bit more refreshing than just the beer drinking Cowboy. So
I really like the match as well. This was actually my favourite match of the whole pay-per-view.
I put it to you that in this match, because I have heard it on other commentaries, there should have been a bit of blood in this match.
Well, I like it
to make it personal.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I didn't have any problem. I thought it was a great match without it. Maybe it could have been absolutely fantastic with it, but I like that they went kind of that NWA kind of route, where they literally kept the blood to the main event guys, and they saved that for Magnus and Joe. And I do think that over the past few years before this, there has been an overuse of blood in quite a lot of matches, and it just seems to be to irk out reaction of the crowd, when it could be distinctly average kind of match. So I didn't really have too much of a deal with it not having blood in. I thought it was quite a good match in its own right anyway. Not overly close with some of the counts when it came to the last man standing kind of stipulation, but I still like the finish that this one had as well. They
had a good brawl as well, didn't they, beforehand? So I enjoyed this match, and again, it was another solid one, and the actual outcome of this match wasn't too far-fetched as well, like we're going to hear later on. So as you can see, the pattern is looking quite nice at the moment. We were very happy with the pay-per-view so far. Now, the Knockouts title match,
I suppose we're not going to cover it in too much detail. Not saying we don't like Divas Wrestling. So, you saw
Gail Kim is awesome.
Some of the knocks she took and some of the bumps she took in this match were phenomenal. But yeah, I don't know about you. I'd still like to see her as champion. I don't think, to be honest, there's too many you can get anywhere near her at the moment in terms of the quality and the intensity she puts into some of her matches.
Yeah, just to put it out there, I heard TNA put in, I think they've signed a new knockout, but not just that as well. Apparently, a former knockout is coming back on Impact this week. So,
it'd be interesting.
Who could that be? I'd like to see someone like an Angelina Love or someone like that, someone who can actually wrestle, get back into it. I heard that Magnus is actually dating Mickie James as well, so maybe she's coming back.
Well, she hasn't been gone very long.
No, but I just, they're the sort of people that TNA need to go out and sign. That's why I haven't got a huge interest in the Knockouts division at the moment, because the only one I feel that is actually up to the standard of what TNA used to be with a Knockouts division, something that they prided themselves on, is a Gail Kim. They did have Taryn Terrell come through, but she went away. I think she will come back. But Madison,
God damn her for having children.
Yeah, think about the rest.
Delzinski, harsh.
All I'm saying is look, TNA has a slogan: wrestling matters.
Priorities.
Yeah, deal with it.
He didn't show up, did he?
No, he didn't.
He's everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on the Knockout division. It needs to get back to its best. So I'm hoping that TNA are going to invest some time into Knockouts division. I'm not really keen on Madison Rayne being the champion. I don't think she's the best wrestler.
It kind of would, underpin everything they're trying to do with bringing proper wrestling back into it quite a lot. So, I completely agree. Someone like Mickie James would be absolutely perfect. And you do need that kind of big feud like you used to have with Trish and Lita, that kind of marquee one that, stands out and you can just put it on any time, and you could even like they did, close the show with it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some good spots in this match, but the Knockouts division has a lot of work to be done. Now, oh boy,
main event time.
Well, it's not the main event, though, is it?
Well, semi-main event time.
Yes, that's better. Look, these are the two matches that I've been waiting to talk about, and I mean, this is almost like a special We Talk, because this is going longer than the norm, and a lot of you guys have said we should do a podcast, so you are getting a bit of a treat today. Hopefully you're enjoying it, but yes.
If you're still listening.
Oh, man, they listen. They like it.
You dropped Buff Bagwell in there. I've told you about this.
That's what brings the viewers in.
Oh, I'm sure.
Cowboys for Angels. Look, the world title match now. Oh my God. Oh,
it was going so well.
it was going so well. Do you know what? This match, the build to this match was perfect. And the scene was set.
Proper wrestling.
The scene was set for Samoa Joe to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Now, my issue here in this match is not the fact that Joe did not win. My issue here is that there was not a clean win during this match. Number one, Magnus at some point needs to win a match clean. And number two, Joe deserves that nod from TNA, which he hasn't had for a long time, in being crowned the world champion. So either of them would have suited me fine.
As I think it was pointed out, isn't it? Joe's held that once, which is remarkable, isn't it, really? Yeah, considering how long he's been in it for.
Totally undervalued. And I mean, this match, it was freaking awesome. You know, you got to see Magnus work pretty damn hard in this match. This is the first time we haven't seen a run-in, a proper big run-in to cock up the match. Magnus gave it his all during this match with Joe, and I thought this was brilliant. And as we saw there was blood, and as you said, you know, you wanted it to be in more of a main event match as opposed to a Gunner and Storm, and you got that as well. I was really enjoying it.
It was going so well, and it was back and forth, and it felt like it was building up to a really decent finish, didn't it?
Yeah, the crowd were totally into this, and that moment when Joe hits the muscle buster and then goes to slap on the choke, and look, everybody's into it. Even Tanae and Taz are doing something right, and they're into it as well, and everybody's going crazy. You think, and I thought, that this is the moment. This is the moment. Joe is going to tap, and Joe's going to be crowned world champion, and this is what I've been waiting for. TNA to do this, and everything will be right. And then I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you got someone coming. Well, you got an arm coming up through the ring eventually.
You see this little knife? You saw the little knife, didn't you?
After it made a couple of prods to try and get up there first time.
Fucking hell.
What was the best bit when the arm come up? What happened?
We couldn't find him.
So what did the person applying the hold do?
He had to offer him his hand, like in marriage.
And then he accepted that proposal and eventually was dragged under the ring.
Oh, man.
Man. What the bloody hell happened under that ring?
I mean, this is the bit.
Did he touch him in an inappropriate place? Because he did not look happy when he came back up, did he?
He was more pissed than Taz was with me last night. Look.
I thought it was the boogeyman under there. I thought, they've got MVP. Now they're going to bring in the boogeyman. He's been touched under the ring and he's not happy about it. He's come up, he's possessed. What the hell was that?
I've got it. I know what happened under there.
Nailed it, haven't you?
I've got it. Bagwell was under there.
What, stroking his nipples or something?
Stroking Joe's nipples. Look, right. Look, back to the main topic here.
But I didn't get it.
This was weird. And this was...
Didn't get it. This was possessed, didn't it?
This was totally unnecessary. But yeah, this is the bit. So he comes up out of the ring, and obviously you guys have seen it, but he's got a face like a slapped arse here. I mean, he looks freaking fuming. And
maybe you weren't happy. Maybe he just got told about the angle when he was in the ring.
Abyss is like, you going down. But look, he looks annoyed, but he doesn't just look annoyed. He looks like he's possessed by the devil. And if they were going for this, I'm thinking, fucking hell, Russo, man. What are you doing? It just was wrong. So he comes out anyway, gets out the ring, and obviously he's been fighting with Abyss, and we still weren't sure who pulled him under the ring. But Joe comes out absolutely pissed and grabs Magnus by the throat and pins him against the cage. Now, at this point, it feels like something's gone a little bit wrong here, because he felt like he was choking him there for an eternity before Abyss could get his monkey ass into the ring.
But what bullshit when you've built it up for so many weeks. There's, a proper wrestling match.
Yes.
To have this happen, it's just taking the fucking piss, isn't it, really?
It's totally unnecessary for this main event. I mean, I just do not understand the logic of having Abyss involved in this. And the only thing I can come to the conclusion of, it was something that we spotted today, is that Abyss is one of the top agents now in TNA. So whether this is and so is Bully Ray, funnily enough.
No friggin' way, man.
So is it a case that, these guys are putting themselves in these spots? I don't know. I've always thought that Christopher Parks was quite a decent guy, and he works best for TNA. But this,
where does it go from here?
This is the guy. Magnus is the guy that Abyss needed to go and see to fix him. What? This is. I've been.
Does that not make perfect sense to you?
No, I've been expecting James Mitchell for weeks now. I've been very excited that we're going to get Father James Mitchell, and we've got him paired up with Magnus now.
And the payoff after the match, the payoff.
It just absolutely sucked. I mean,
Eric Young was not happy, was he? He wasn't a happy bunny.
Yeah, so what are we trying to build for here? Are we trying to build for an Eric Young world title match? Because no one wants to see that. And I like Eric Young, but he's not world title material. This is like when they gave the belt to Sabin for no reason whatsoever.
It would have just made the only way it could have even remotely even started to make sense if he just came up, interfered, and then just stood there, either just looking angry like Abyss does, or doing whatever. But to then go and basically align himself with Magnus, like you said, made no freaking sense whatsoever.
Bullshit.
So it's gone from kind of, we quite like this pay-per-view, to boom.
Well, we
weren't happy at this point, were we? We weren't happy. We hadn't given up on it because we still had, the Lethal Lockdown match coming up. So we were still holding our hopes out for that, weren't we?
Yeah, I was just kind of shocked. I mean, TNA had to do one simple thing, and it was let one of these guys win clean. Very simple, easy thing to do. And they dropped the ball. And this is what I said all along. This World Heavyweight title match was the big payoff. And this made the crowd go, whoom, completely flat. The minute that hand comes out the ring, the crowd start chanting bullshit. They wanted to see a clean victory here from one of the two, particularly Joe.
And you got to remember the amount of time left when this kicked off. I mean, there's still about an hour and 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more, the pay-per-view left. So there's a lot of time invested into these two marquee matchups. And when you get something like that, it just, you're as flat as a pancake by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy that also comes back in the Lethal Lockdown match where I feel Abyss would have been better suited to enter a feud with. We'll probably touch on that in a moment, because after the disappointment of the World Heavyweight title match, we have Lethal Lockdown. Oh yeah.
And it started off really well, didn't it? With Aries, and I think it was it MVP straight off?
It was, and that was a good start. That was a good decision to have these two go at it first, because Austin Aries is always a fan favourite of mine. And MVP, you're not so keen on him, are you? But I like MVP.
I think he's solid. I'm not main event for me. I'm not, I'm not saying I know everything when it comes to wrestling, but
you're the professor.
I know more about colour commentary, I think, than Taz does. But I thought he was probably the right guy to open with, though.
Ballin'.
Especially, yeah. Well, I loved it when Aries mocked the basketball shot pose that he goes for. That was quite funny. But no, it was good, and obviously you had two good solid tag teams in there as well, don't you?
Yeah, I would have swapped the Bromans, to be honest, for the Bad Influence, but we got the Bromans, and it was a good thing for the Bromans, because this was their chance to shine, and I thought it did a pretty good job, actually.
They were involved in some quite good spots in it. There was one, wasn't there, in particular? Was the Coast to Coast?
Look, the Wolves are freaking amazing. The Wolves stole the show for me.
Oh, they were great. I mean, I've seen them a number of times now. They haven't disappointed in anything that they've done so far for me, to be honest. Other than the fact they got the belts far too quickly, but that's another issue for another day.
Well, they ain't got them now.
No, well, gone. And obviously, I like Bobby Roode.
Sorry.
And then well, we're going to talk about it. Willow. What do we make of this?
You sort of stumbled around there with the Willow. Why you so like that?
I don't get who it is.
Look,
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, look.
Explain it to me, please.
I like the Willow gimmick. Now, I think it's a good thing for Jeff Hardy to reinvent himself. He's not reinventing himself. He had this character in Omega. I've made previous commentaries, so if you want to go back and revisit what I've talked about in the past, then do that, please. But, this character's good. And the only issue I have here with the way that Willow came back was, or made his appearance in TNA for the first time, was there was no freaking build to it. Now, earlier in the evening, we were told by Dixie Carter in her long, boring ass promo that Jeff Hardy would not be coming into the building. So okay, fine. We all know that Jeff Hardy is going to be in this match, right? And we all know that Jeff Hardy is Willow.
No freaking way, man.
Well, we do know this. We're mucking about. We do know this. So look. He's the last man to come into Lethal Lockdown, and we get the countdown, and then, up on the screen comes the promo, the Willow-style promo, the music hits, and this is looking quite nice, because TNA really do lack it sometimes when it comes to these big entrances. They fucked up Sting's return, I remember that pissed me off, but they were doing this right, apart from the commentary team.
TNT. Fuck this up.
No hype. Where's the hype? Where's the, and then it's like this confusion, this sort of wave of bullshit. Taz is going, wait a minute, Willow's Jeff Hardy? No, who is Willow? And Mike Tenay's sort of replying to him going, you know who that is? And he's like,
Taz.
It's just, So they undersold this, and this is a big return. This is Jeff Hardy coming back as a new gimmick. This is a big selling point for TNA. Now, a lot of people that I've heard have said, look, Jeff Hardy shouldn't be coming back at all. Jeff Hardy is money. Yeah, Jeff Hardy's a big selling point for TNA. So I have no issues with Jeff Hardy coming back and entering into a Lethal Lockdown match. He's not in the world title picture. He's just come back. Now, the Swanton Bomb. It was. Look, Weeds, man. It was good. It was entertaining.
The splash he comes back with at the beginning, it's not a swanton bomb, is it? He just.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah.
I was gonna say, did the other guys they forget to help him because he kind of landed splat, didn't he? And I don't know, he pretty much ballsed himself up for the rest of the match.
Well, this was my issue with it, was if you're going to do it like this, and you're going to have him perform this big move off the top of the cage, what you want after that is him to be up and then him to clear house. But what went wrong here was he hit the splash, and then I don't remember anything else that significant that Willow did in this whole pay-per-view. He had one spot where he did sort of like a catapult or a flip power bomb of Aries into the cage. That was pretty decent.
I think it obviously pissed Aries off because he absolutely tanked him with a trash can.
Yeah,
later on.
I mean that was good, but the way I would have done this, and I tweeted this out. The classic at Delzinski. Get on there, follow me. But the way I said I'd tell you guys my scenario for Willow, and my scenario was that yes, the lights would go out. Yes, everyone would be like, "Who is this?" But then the promo would come up, and the commentators would do their fricking job and acknowledge that Jeff Hardy is Willow. Yes, they would do this. The lights come on, and as we've seen in Omega, Jeff Hardy has had a kendo stick before, and he would obliterate every person in that ring with a kendo stick, and then he would be outro. That would be it. Lights go out, Jeff Hardy is gone. And if you want to throw something in the mix here, and you want something else to go down, you would put Abyss in this match as well. Holy shit, I'm going full out, yeah? Abyss comes in and takes out Willow. That is where you get Abyss involved in a match. You do not put him in the world title match. Deal with it.
So what happens instead? He just becomes another guy in the match, doesn't he? Effectively,
he just disappeared after the splash. I mean,
even if you can do that, let him get the 3 count. If that team's going over, let him get the 3 count at the end of it.
If you're gonna build Jeff Hardy as Willow big time, then Jeff Hardy should have had a big payoff. I mean, from my point of view, the person who should have got the pin is one of the Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, well, they certainly earned it throughout the match. But with Willow, is this a one and done job? You know, are we back to Jeff Hardy after this? Or
I don't think so. I think this is here to stay. But they've really screwed up something that was going well. The promos were working really nicely. I did, as I said, I like the gimmick. It's a little bit out there, but just the way they delivered it.
And I suppose
it hurt
on
me.
on that bombshell, what did you make at the end?
That's what I made at the end.
But the finish itself,
silence. That's what I made.
Absolute silence.
It freaking look. And again, oh God, see, this, look, I wouldn't get annoyed, but this review was good.
Me before we did this that you would not get upset.
This review was going so well, but
bit like the pay-per-view.
You do not have somebody come out and cut a promo in the middle of a big match. Dixie Carter, particularly.
Yes, you do, Delzinski. Yes, you do.
Particularly when it's Dixie Carter. I mean, this is the $2 whatever Stephanie McMahon cheap imitation, and Stephanie on Raw. Stephanie on Raw showed how a woman cuts a promo in wrestling, and Dixie Carter cannot do it. So anyway, out comes Madam Dixie. She comes out and she's got her insurance policy from Hell's Kitchen, New York City, a Buggy Roy. Yes, Bully Ray was that insurance policy. A guy who just a few weeks ago was saying that he was going to beat the living crap out of Mr. Anderson's pregnant wife. Keep that in mind for what is coming, people.
Well, it was great. Obviously, they brought him out as a special ref, so they dressed him as a ref, right?
No.
No. And when a special ref gets involved, because this is what I'm going to give him props here, because he got this exactly right, Taz. What does a special referee not do, Delzinski?
Well, he doesn't set up tables.
He doesn't set up tables, does he? So he's like, sod getting in that ring. I'll tell you what, I'll get you a table and then I'll get in that ring.
It's another problem. It's another problem in this match. What was the point of this table? What was the purpose? So he sets up a table in this match, and then a lot of shit goes down before this table's even utilised, and this table isn't even utilised during the freaking match. So what do you set it up for in the first place? Someone's birthday? You're going to put a cake on it? I don't fucking know. But look, one spot I have to point out, there was an immense brainbuster on a steel chair from Austin Aries on one of the Wolves. That was awesome. Mark out moment for me, one of my favourite moments, and also the 450 splash onto the trash can, which Aries missed. He didn't hit anyone, but he hit the trash can. That was another good moment for me. But back to the table.
That's Aries, isn't it? He's fantastic.
Back to that table. Now,
the innocuous table of doom.
Well, my fucking table. Now, this table doesn't get used in the match. Bully Ray sets it up for nothing. But as I believe it's Bobby Roode is about to put someone through it, he interjects.
It's MVP, isn't it?
Yeah, he steps in the way and stops this from happening. And everybody is like, well, I was like going to get the bit of rope to hang myself next to Samuel Shaw, because I could not believe that you are turning this guy face. Did you hear what I just said? Only a month ago, or
baby killer.
Well, 2 weeks ago, for that matter, this guy was talking about beating up a pregnant. Oh, fucking hell! It's all gone wrong. I just don't know.
But you said, and he may be booking, right?
Yes, this is apparently it. He's booking, but no, nothing makes up for this. This is wrong. He cannot be a face.
So obviously, massive slam, isn't there? Because obviously Bobby Roode's not going to like being looked at like that, is he?
Not through the table.
No, just a regular, the Cyborg Slam kind of move. He's got cover by MVP, and there's control of your company right there, isn't it?
Yeah, MVP seizes control. Again, a lot of shit went down in this match, which was unrequired. I mean, Willow's return would have been the significant thing. There's no need for Bully Ray. There was no place for Bully Ray in this match.
It's just trying to do too much again, isn't it? In a couple of events, and as we said, it was a perfectly good pay-per-view up to there. I'm not saying it got it did get completely destroyed after this, but it could have been so much better, couldn't it?
Yep.
But I really enjoyed it up until those two matches, and I suppose up until Abyss cut his way into the ring.
This was a simple pay-per-view booking-wise. You just had to have these clean wins. MVP or Team Dixie could have won that match. It wouldn't have bothered me too much. The nice thing is that possibly Dixie Carter's not going to be on telly much longer, but I hope that doesn't ruin the EC3 character, and I hope it doesn't ruin Rockstar Spud's push. That's a nicety. But yes, ultimately, all they had to do in this pay-per-view was have Joe win, and a clean victory or a decent victory in the Lethal Lockdown match. No need for all these swerves with Abyss, Bully Ray. Do you know what the best thing for Bully Ray what they should do with him?
Release him?
No. Go get Devon back, stick him as a tag team, and get him to pick up a feud. Get Beer Money back together, which I could see happening with James Storm being a heel and Bobby Roode. Get them back together, get that feud going, get the tag division going. But no, Bully Ray, not main event picture, not in the big storylines. Please piddle off.
Wow, well, I think we've covered quite a lot of ground there, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, guys, you've said about having a podcast. We've given you about an hour commentary here, so I hope you do enjoy it. Something to listen to, whether you're going to school, whether you're going to work. Take out the few censored bits here, there with the swearing. Apologies, but it was a pay-per-view which I had huge expectation for, and I do feel that TNA didn't crucify it. They didn't make massive mistakes, but they overdid something that was a simple win here. And that's why I'm disappointed, because now they're going to have to rectify the problems they've created. There's a lot of explaining to do on this next episode of Impact.
Should be an interesting one, shouldn't it? I was going to say, I don't know about you. I'm worn out now. And we haven't even involved Buff Bagwell in a vast majority.
Oh, he's going to wear you out, Weeds.
I don't even know where that came from. Well, obviously, I will have to get him after you. When you've actually done with him after your 25 grand week you've just spent with him.
Money.
I can hear him in the background.
Look, we're part of Jeff Jarrett's plans. It's coming. Ugh. Oh God. Oh my God. Anyway, guys, all that's left to be said. Look, this was our lockdown review. Personally, out of 10, I'm probably going to give it a 7.5 because overall, all the matches really had some good work. Great matches, but the finishes weren't quite right. What would you give out of 10, Weeds?
I go around 6. I reckon it was good, but that last, as I said, it was a good 2/3 into the pay-per-view that was good, but that last third it just kind of let itself down. It's where all the major stuff for me should have happened. So yeah, I score it slightly lower.
Yeah, I mean, guys, if you enjoyed this this commentary, it's slightly longer. As I say, it's about an hour long. Let us know via the comments box below. We are more than open to doing a podcast soon, so it would be great if you give us your feedback. All that's left to be said is follow us on Twitter at Delzinski and Weeds. Do you want to drop your one?
Yeah, at Weeds_World or Weeds World. You'll find me either way. And check out my channel too, Weeds World. Got a lot of creations going on there, have a lot of these kind of commentaries on there. We tend to look at the more historical stuff on that channel. We've already got some stuff up about the Montreal Screwjob. Probably going to be looking at the Monday Night Wars in quite a bit of depth soon as well. So yeah, catch me at Weeds World and hopefully we'll get you looking at the videos on there too.
Yep, we definitely will. When are you going to be looking at Buff Bagwell on that channel?
He's banned.
Shit. Anyway, guys, all that's left to be said is please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is the Lockdown review from Delzinski and Weeds, and we are signing out.
See ya.